Now that fall is just around the corner and barbecue season is over, it's time to start cooking in your oven again. And what better way to start than with shepherd's pie? Welcome honorable judges and other field to fork competitors. My name is Riley Knoll, and this is my 5th year in 4-H. I am in the Yellowhead 4-H Club, and today I will be making shepherd's pie. The recipe that I am using is almost 100 years old, dating back to the 1920s. I got my recipe from this cookbook, which has a selection of many old recipes. Today I will be using mainly BC ingredients with only 6 ingredients that are not from BC. Let's get started. The supplies I'm going to be using today are a pot, a cast iron skillet, aluminum foil, a bowl, a glass baking dish, a liquid measuring cup, and 2 sets of measuring spoons, a metal spatula, a potato masher, a rubber spatula, a wooden spoon, a metal spoon, and a fork. My non-BC ingredients are olive oil, salt, nutmeg, ground black pepper, Worcestershire sauce, and beef stock. My BC ingredients are water, eggs, potatoes, onions, peas and carrots, dried thyme and fresh parsley, Rogers flour, ground lamb, and Blackwell Dairy heavy cream. Let's begin cooking, but before we start, I'll wash my hands with soap to prevent any spread of germs. I also have a cloth nearby to clean up any messes. The first step is to caramelize the onions. I will grease my cast iron pan with olive oil. And add 2.5 cups of chopped BC grown onions. And 1 teaspoon of salt. The onions I am using today were picked from our family's garden this morning and was specifically for this recipe. Then stir with a metal spoon and add water. You will cook the onions until the water is evaporated. Make sure the onions do not stick to the bottom of the pan. When the onions are done, they should be golden brown, like this. Then move to a bowl and set aside. The next step is to preheat the oven to 400 degrees and grease your baking dish. I have already pre-greased my baking dish with BC butter. The next step is to make the meat filling. You will grease your cast iron pan with olive oil and add 2 pounds of ground beef and cook until it's no longer pink, like this. The next step is to add the onions, half a teaspoon of dried thyme, 1 teaspoon of ground pepper, and 1 teaspoon of parsley, half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Now that's a fun word to say. And 3/4 cup beef stock. As well as 1 cup of peas and 1 cup of carrots. Then you will mix it all together with your wooden spoon. parsley, and thyme were all picked this morning from our garden fresh. The lamb is homegrown and raised at our farm. It is pasture raised with a minimal amount of grain. The next step is to get 2 tablespoons of Rogers flour and add it to the filling and cook until it thickens. Rogers flour is from Armstrong, BC, and is my personal favorite for baking. While we wait for this to cook, we will move on to the potato topping. But remember to always keep the raw meat instruments away from the other food and the other utensils to prevent any spread of contamination. The next step is to cook the potato topping. You will get 4 large potatoes, or a bunch of small ones, and cook in boiling water until the potatoes are tender. Then you'll drain the water and mash the potatoes with the potato masher until smooth. Like this. Now, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs that have been beaten. The eggs I'm using today are from my family's own chickens. I will beat them using the fork. Next, you will add half a cup of Blackwell Dairy Heavy Cream. Blackwell Dairy is located just outside Kamloops, only half an hour away from my house. It is also a family-owned business, and the family is a 4-H family. Last but not least, I will add a dash of nutmeg to the potatoes. Then I will stir the potatoes until well combined. Oh wait, now it's time to go back to the filling. Now it's time to spoon this filling into the already greased baking dish. You will spoon this so that it covers the bottom of the baking dish. And then spread it out evenly. The next step is to put the potato topping on top of the filling and spread it out evenly as well. Now you are going to cook this for 25 minutes until the potatoes are golden brown. But don't forget to cover it with aluminum foil. While opening the oven door, make sure to open it all the way so that it doesn't spring back on your hands. While we wait for the shepherd's pie to bake, let's review the ingredients and supplies. For the supplies, I use a cast iron skillet, a pot, a bowl, a glass baking dish, which is in the oven, aluminum foil, 2 sets of measuring spoons, a liquid measuring cup, a metal spatula, a potato masher, a rubber spatula, a wooden spoon, a metal spoon, and a fork. The non-BC ingredients that I used today were olive oil, salt, nutmeg, ground black pepper, Worcestershire sauce, and beef stock. The BC ingredients that I used today were water, eggs, potatoes, onions, peas and carrots, dried thyme, fresh parsley, Rogers flour, ground lamb, and Blackwell Dairy heavy cream. Wait a minute. Do you smell that? That must mean our pie is done. Yep, I was right. Done to perfection. The nice thing about these kind of recipes is that you can have the satisfaction knowing that this recipe is made almost 100% out of BC and locally grown ingredients. Now time to sit down with a steaming plate of shepherd's pie and enjoy this delicious fall meal. I can already taste the goodness.